Hi, I'm Dr. Ruth Anderson with Enlightened World. I'm so pleased today to be here with Rebecca Abraxas, and we are here to talk about Volume 2 of Gateway to an Enlightened World. And this volume is called Collective Life Lessons on Personal Transformation. And Rebecca, why don't you come on and say hello?
Hi, everyone. This is such an honor to be interviewed here today, and also just to be in this collection of beautiful stories. I'm just feel so thrilled and honored. It's my first book I've actually been a part of, so it's
Well,
really exciting.
that is exciting. And Rebecca is one of our speakers from the original summit that happened in September. And she's also been on with us for the Sunday summits. And she's such a valuable contributor to that. So I'm so pleased that she's here. So, Rebecca, your chapter is called Birthing Myself to a New Phase of Life. Do you want to talk about that and what brought you to that place?
Sure. It's been an interesting year, but like really, when you asked us to share a story of what we're working with spiritually right now, this is the story that wanted to come out, and it's the way I see spiritual journeys and practices. Just it's life. I mean, I just feel like we're energetic spiritual beings, so anything we're going through is, is a spiritual journey. So, the story is really about my life in the past, I guess from January to, I guess that 9 months, from January to September. And it really, what the reason I called it the birthing was because I realized when you asked me to write that story, it's like, oh, it's been 9 months. It's been a pregnancy, a gestation. And it's just been this time of year of like, just radical transformation, and it kind of hit me on the head a little bit, and when you asked me to write the story, I was like, oh, this has been an amazing transformation for myself. And as a woman being 48 years old, I'm in perimenopause, and I'm also in a state of my mind, a state of my life where I'm looking at present and future, and just just looking at my life as a healer and a contributor to the world and my family. I started asking a lot of questions and going into some very deep practices from January to May, and this led to what the chapter is about, with where that led me very unexpectedly. I didn't think I was going to be starting a whole nother business. So it's the chapter's really about how our life and spiritual guidance really, we just never know where it's going to lead us. And if we follow the energy of it without um just being like, oh well, that's not spiritual enough, or isn't, I thought it'd show up this way or that way, and just letting go of our own agenda. That's really what the power of my chapter is all about, because that's how it showed up for me. It was just like spirit was really asking me to let go of my agenda and let go of my judgments and just follow the energy. And um yeah, and I'm still working with the judgment after we got on our call, and I heard all the women, all the people's stories about losing loved ones, and just, I just started to be like, oh, I think I was guided wrong. I could have given the story about my father's passing, or about this, and maybe the story wasn't spiritual enough. And here I go into my judgment in my mind again, and I was just like, no, this was the story that was so powerful on my heart to share about the unfolding. And this was my spiritual journey through the Bhagavad Gita and through my Reiki and through samadhis that were happening, and how that showed up with practicality and business and life and family. And it really, even this morning talking to my husband about the same, judgment I had. I don't know. I just, if is that the right story? It has nothing to do with my voice and whatever it is, right? Those little stories happen in our head. But really, when it comes down to it, I spent a little time on the couch, just in quiet before getting on this call. And it's just like, no, I'm going to trust spirit. I'm going to trust the flow of energetics. This was the perfect story and for me to offer. And it really has, it's about my life this past year. And what you asked me to share was my life and how spirit is working with me. And it really, that's how it's working. So,
I think the lesson here, though, Rebecca, is as much as we think we know the right answer, it's not about knowing the right answer. It's really about listening to what you're getting from spirit and going with it. Because when you do that, it opens up all kinds of doors that you wouldn't have thought of had you gone with that right answer in your own mind. So, one of the things that I appreciate so much about you is not only the mindfulness with which you have walked into what Spirit has asked of you, but the full bodied attention to your walking into what Spirit has asked of you.
oh, thank you. Yeah, it
It,
does feel that way.
yeah.
Thank you. It does feel like that. And it's taken a while to get there. Not, and I'm not even there. There's always, whatever that means. It's taken a while to get to this moment in time and then to the next moment. But last night, my husband and I were having dinner, and he was talked about creating a webinar for the voice work I do. And I was like, I don't even know how I would go about that, because it's been a life journey of spiritual practice to get to the voice. And he like interviewed me a little bit more during dinner, and he was just like, well, this and that. And what I came up with was explaining to him, and it's just that bridge process, the bridge, like the idea of a bridge going from creating a bridge with spiritual practice to get to yourself again, basically, to the point of being embodied with spirit and following that flow. And eventually we don't even need the bridge to ourselves anymore. And I was just like, that might be something that I could offer as a webinar. And that's really how my voice has unfolded through the years. And but I feel like it's what you're talking about is that embodiment process, and just feeling the guidance and going and trusting and surrendering to it. And it does take a little bit of creating that bridge to ourselves until the bridge isn't there anymore, if that makes any sense.
Mhm. It does. It does. So, Rebecca, you also do sound healing with folks. Do you want to take just a couple minutes and tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. My voice has evolved for a while now. I found my voice as a singer, um, and a singer-songwriter for 25 years in the folk world, and I started to feel kind of uncomfortable with performing folk music, and kind of dull. And so I started asking questions and sitting with it in my meditations, like, where does my voice want to go? And it started to really want to do healing work. And so I started to look into, just to explore with that. And I found the avenue of Holy Fire Reiki. And it's been such a beautiful um, support for my voice, or I guess not even support, channel, I guess, for my voice. Because as I'm with Holy Fire Reiki and with that frequency, I just surrender my voice and say, use my voice for Reiki. And it just comes through. And it's just been such a contribution to myself, but also to the people that are receiving it, just the feedback I'm getting. And it's so seamless as we work together, as my voice gets channeled with the Reiki. It's just, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just it just flows out of me. There's not one question or judgment. It just kind of comes through. And, in the past, when I was exploring how to do sound healing with my voice, I was trying to figure it out. And the beauty of melding with the Holy Fire, there's no figuring it out. It just comes it just comes through, whether it's just a tone, or whether it's a little melody, or it could be Native American chanting, which I know nothing about, but somehow comes through, or it could be, Indian chanting. Like it's amazing, or angelic, the different flavors that come through depending on who's receiving it and who their guides and guides are. So it's just interesting, and it's been and continues to just awe me. It's definitely a place that I envisioned for a while, and now I'm doing it more and more, and it seems to be being received more and more, and it's just really feels really good.
And so if folks want to find you and check out this sound healing through Holy Fire Reiki, which
Yeah.
I completely support because I've experienced it and it's beautiful, how do they find you?
Just RebeccaAbraxas.com. And on that site, there's lots of different things on there. So if you go to the toolbar and you go to services, you'll see like there's different things. So there is a part for the sound healing. There's Reiki and voice on there. There's classes. So, just look around a little bit on the toolbar, but you'll find the different areas I work with.
Okay, great. And so if folks are interested, they can go to Amazon right now, Gateway to an Enlightened World, Collective Life Lessons on Personal Transformation, and find Rebecca Abraxas and her chapter in here. So Rebecca, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, thank you so much. This is wonderful. The wonderful idea.
Okay, you take care.
Bye-bye.